All right. Hello and welcome, class of 2025. We are extremely happy to be with you for this video. We know that tonight is the beginning of a very long process, but a very exciting process in getting you indoctrinated into life at Liberty High School. This particular component is a video that we provide to our parents around the orientation, the very beginnings of the orientation process. We'll give you a lot of information, but thankfully this will be recorded and it will be there for you to view at a later date if you choose to. So we're going to jump right in. And I'm going to introduce my administrative team who will be working with you and your family throughout this process. First, again, my name is Harrison Bailey III, and I'm the principal here at Liberty High School. And this is my 10th year here at Liberty. And I'm extremely, extremely happy to be joining you. Next, we have Miss Amanda Hinkle. Sorry.
Hello.
Ms. Hinkle is in charge of curriculum and instruction here with us. Miss Elizabeth Ramsey.
Hi there.
Ms. Ramsey is in charge of students, last names A through D in Student Service Center 400. Mr. Wayne Whitaker.
Hello, everyone.
Mr. Whitaker is an assistant principal in Student Service Center 800, and he has last names E through L. And Mr. Antonio Trasa.
How you doing, everybody? Good evening.
He is the assistant principal for Student Service Center 103, last names M through RI. And Mr. Nicholas Samatalidis.
Hello, good evening.
Mr. Samatalidis is in 112. And he has last names RO through Z. Also, we have Mr. Fred Harris, who is our athletic director. Unfortunately, couldn't be with us for this video, but you will meet him at a later date. So that is the administrative team. So to begin, I wanted to introduce you to two key terms that are a central part of our mission at Liberty High School. Those two words are passion and purpose. When you enter our building in the front door, from the front doors, you will see those two words on the pillars inside the first entranceway. And those words are important to us because they are what our true mission is for every student, that they're able to identify their passion and purpose before they leave Liberty High School. We define passion as what you love, not necessarily what job you want to do, but what field you want to be in. And purpose, what speaks to your heart, and purpose as how you want to use that passion or that thing that speaks to your heart to make your family, your school, your community, your country, your world a better place. And so our mission is to have every student be able to identify those things before they leave us. Liberty High School is, under normal circumstances, obviously not in this current hybrid scenario, has 2,800 students. We bounce generally between 27 and 2,800. We were built in 1922. But then renovated much more recently in 2009. We're made up of five buildings that are all connected, either by a hallway or by walkover to two other buildings. If you're facing our building from the front, that is the main building in the oldest part, the Commons area. That houses our main office, our auditorium, some of our student service centers, and many of our classrooms. That building, the top floor of that building, is actually where your children will spend the majority of their freshman year. That is our freshman center, which you'll hear more about later. Behind the Commons building is our Student Activity Center, which houses our gyms, our cafeteria, pool, and those things. Off to the left, if you're facing the building, that particular area is our Klein Classroom Center. That is where our 10th through 12th grade have their social studies, math, and English courses. Also houses our library and our Student Service Center 800. And to the right, if you're facing our building, that is the Lab Center. And that is where most of the science courses are, and also Student Service Center 400. So that is kind of the general makeup of our building. I tell students very often, when you're looking at it from the outside, it seems like this big place. But after you're in it for a few weeks and you're walking around, you know where everything is, you get used to it pretty quick. So that's the kind of general layout of our building. Mr. Trasa.
Thank you, Dr. Bailey. So I want to talk about student service centers, but typically if you were sitting in our auditorium today, I'd ask you to raise your hand if you're a Liberty grad. So Mrs. Hinkle and I are Liberty grads. So for those of you who are Liberty grads, welcome back. I want to talk about our student service centers. For those of you obviously coming from the middle schools, you have your office where you have a counselor and an assistant principal, and our student service centers are very similar to that. So from where you're coming from. We have 4 student service centers here at Liberty High School, and everybody was introduced earlier by Dr. Bailey. In the student service center, you will have 3 counselors, 1 assistant principal, and a secretary. One of the most important things that I tell people about our student service centers is get to know the secretary. If you have any questions, you come in. She's your first point of contact. She will direct the students. Sometimes they do need to see their counselor. Sometimes they just need a form, and she might have it, and they don't need to see the counselor for the form. So one of the most important things is get to know the secretary really well. It is very helpful. In our student service center, there's a lot of information that you guys can see on the slide. You have your counseling and your guidance services, college and career planning as we continue moving forward into a student's senior year. A lot of the course selection and registration takes place in our student service centers. Students need vacation forms, absence forms. They need to leave early. Come down, see the secretary. You can get all those vacation forms and early dismissal passes and everything like that. Our student service centers are set up that your children, and if you have any current children or any children coming up even later on, they're going to have the same guidance counselor and the same assistant principal for the whole 4 years. So that's really important that we establish those relationships with you. So this way you have the same person for all those years. So thank you.
Ms. Hinkle.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Hinkle. I oversee curriculum and instruction, and I'm just going to briefly go over the Bethlehem Area School District's program of studies. It's quite robust. You can access it on the school district website or Liberty High School's website under the academic tab. You can download it as a PDF. While I don't necessarily recommend that because it's 97 pages, we also have a website as well. All of the information that you need to help your son or daughter navigate Liberty High School in terms of the coursework, graduation requirements, community service requirements, dual enrollment, the honors program, all of that is in the program of studies for you to access. Please do that prior to your students engaging in the course selection process, which will be the beginning of February at all middle schools. Our guidance counselors are going to be going down to the middle school to speak with your students, and then it will be followed up by a Zoom meeting on how to navigate course selection. Course selection this year will be done through eSchool, through HAC, the Home Access Center. You can click on the request tabs now and see that. So I would highly recommend that in the next week or so, you're going to receive a lot of information about course selection, and the program of studies is one of the documents that will greatly help you prepare for that with your child, your student. All Bethlehem area school districts, all Bethlehem area school district students are required to take 26 credits to graduate. That encompasses 4 English credits, 3 social studies credits, 7 math or science, meaning 3 math, 4 science, or vice versa. The health credit is broken up into 2 courses, Health 1 and Health 2, 0.5s. Physical education, PE, gym, is 2 credits. That's a 0.5 credit each year of high school. Fine and practical arts can be cooking, it can be woodshop, or it could be poetry, our creative writing course, our drama course, as long as it falls within the performance avenue. Freshman and sophomore seminars, 1 credit, both 0.5s. We have a computer science credit that there's an array of classes that you can choose from. Then any of the general electives, we really encourage students to fulfill their general electives with the pathway that they chose. That ties back to Dr. Bailey's passion and purpose and what they want to do. And then community service. We do highly recommend that any student who wishes to attend college embed their world language into their elective credits as well. And then finally, while this is a moving target right now, the PDE has mandated a graduation requirement that surrounds the Keystone exams. But that's ever changing right now. So we'll dive into that more when your students arrive at Liberty.
At the core of what we're trying to do through the pathways and our career programs is we're trying to personalize each student's experience so that when they leave us, they're as career and college ready as possible so that they have options. This process, as Mrs. Hinkle alluded to, will begin shortly at the middle school. Our high school counselors will visit with students. They will introduce the pathways to students and encourage them to begin exploring specific courses within the pathway that seems to be the best fit for them. Essentially, career pathways are clusters of careers that typically draw individuals that have similar interests or strengths. And what we do in Bethlehem is we've broadened them to these 4 categories. The pathways, the first one being arts and communication, may interest students who are interested in performing arts, visual arts. Students who are creative might be interested in journalism. Definitely there's an emphasis on having strong communication skills. The next pathway, business, finance, and law, may be a good match for students who enjoy planning, organizing, evaluating, students who might be interested in a career in business, law, or public service. Health and social services tends to attract students who are interested in helping others meet their needs, whether it's educational or social, promote wellness. So basically, if you're a people person, this might be a good fit for you. Typically, students might be interested in medicine or social work. There's a number of careers. And then finally, science, technology, engineering, and math tends to be more hands-on, calls for strong critical thinking skills, might attract students who are interested in research, testing, designing, building. So while we have these 4 pathways, we do also have specialized areas in education. For students who are interested in becoming a teacher in the future, we want to expose them to some courses while they're here with us in high school, and then by senior year, encourage them to take an education-based course at a local college. We every year are strengthening our partnerships with local colleges. We're very fortunate at the opportunities our kids have. More recently, we've been strengthening our partnerships with Northampton Community College, East Stroudsburg University, and Temple University. So this is a process really that extends well beyond 4 years, as your children are currently in 8th grade and we're already going to begin working with them. And the goal again is to make sure that they have a solid plan by the time they leave us. And so this happens through a combination of in-class or currently virtual activities, and through work with the guidance counselor. So in grade 9, students have that freshman seminar course. They're definitely encouraged to continue exploring the pathways. They work with their counselors in small groups, and they're starting to really get a better sense, narrow down the areas that they want to focus in. They're developing a life plan. The exposure continues in grade 10. They do have the sophomore seminar class. They also have a career project. There's a career fair that they attend. We're fortunate that we've had over 60 representatives, business partners who come and speak to our students about the number of opportunities that are out there for them. They have the opportunity to dress the part, meet professionals. It's a really neat experience for kids. In 11th grade, we're starting to really focus in on the nuts and bolts of what it is that the student must complete in the remaining year and a half or so that's ahead of them before they leave us. And we want them to learn that process so that if they change their minds in the future, they're able to access resources that are available and help them navigate. By the time senior year comes around, we really are encouraging students to expand their experiences. We want them to participate in shadowing programs, internships, dual enrollment, perhaps service learning. So we really want them to get out there and start experiencing more than what we have inside the school. So many of our students are interested in attending the Bethlehem Area Vocational Technical School. While traditionally students begin programs there in 10th grade, we do have, Bethlehem does offer the Fast Track program for 9th graders. So this is a select program. It's competitive because it's a limited number of spots. Essentially, 9th graders have the opportunity to rotate through all 23 programs that VOTEC offers. This all happens the second semester of the 9th grade year. So essentially for 2/3 of that semester, students spend a couple of days in each of the programs. And then the last 6 weeks, they can focus in on 1, 2, or 3 programs. And then what students can do is they can, the following year, go back to VOTEC and settle right into the program that they chose, or they may opt to go through rotation again, or they may opt not to return. It's up to the student. About half the students who go to VOTEC through Fast Track do try to, half of them choose to continue in the selected program, and half just choose to go through rotation over. All right, so students who have more questions about that can fill out the online application, can get more information through their middle school counselor, or check out the Bethlehem Area Vocational Technical Schools website.
So Liberty High School is a restorative high school where we believe in relationships and communication. And every time we do this presentation, no more does it seem that it's such a critical philosophy and belief that we have with the current tone that we're feeling nationally and even in our communities. And I like to refer to restorative practices as just basically humanity 101, that we believe that conflicts are best resolved by those most directly involved in them. And the goal is to repair the harm that's been done and restore relationships with individuals where the incident or the situation occurred. And so some practical applications that you may see if you were to visit our school would be classroom circles. And so some of our teachers just conduct circles where they just do a check-in and a check-out. Maybe they'll start off their class in the beginning of the week and then end the week basically with checking out and also making sure that kids are pretty well in tune to what's expected of them academically. So it could be just to check in how someone's doing, or just sometimes classes can be run in a circle like some of our teachers may do. We believe doing that helps in building community within a classroom. It's something about a circle and forming that you just feel more of a bond. Another example is effective statements, excuse me, where effective statements involve basically placing a feeling in a statement. So for example, saying that I'm frustrated that you're an excellent student, but that you're okay with a C, with an average score, or that I'm upset that you haven't taken the class seriously. So it's a way of properly helping students how to express themselves. Um, Another example you may see is restorative questions. And so some examples of that would be, when you talk to your child, you might say, you know, why did you do that? And they usually, especially boys at this age, would tell you, I don't know. But with restorative questions, we want to make them think and dig a little deeper. And so some examples would be, if you would see restorative questions happening in our student service centers, would be what happened? What were you thinking at the time? What have you thought about since? Who's been affected or harmed by what has occurred? And what do you think you need to do to fix it or make things right between the parties? So those are some of our examples. And you'll also would see it happen a lot of times when we talk about having restorative conferences, which is bringing the students together. Perhaps it's a situation between a student and a student and a teacher. So this is what we mean by being a restorative high school, where we really get after what some people would call soft skills in the past, but we believe they're critical skills. The ability to communicate, especially when upset or under duress, and to really work at relationships when it's so easy today and so many other different means and forms to just do away with relationships. And so that we believe this helps in having a well-rounded student, and for your children to teach them resiliency and emotional social skills to move them on. What the goal is, even though they enter day one, we're thinking about what your child needs in order for the next level of their lives. Next, I'd like to talk about Liberty High School as a trauma-informed school. So our staff, we're all continuously learning about the effects of adverse childhood experiences and toxic stress on students and staff. So we're continuously learning and also teaching our students about the impact of toxic stress on our brains and our bodies. And the key is that with the critical nature of building strong relationships, teaching not only our staff with your child, but also teaching our students to have positive relationships with one another, that if you, even though your conditions may be difficult, life may be very heavy with situations, but if you have someone that you can talk to, turn to, one person that you feel supports you, the science and the research shows you may be under a lot of stress, but it's not toxic stress. So basically, toxic stress is the absence of a protective relationship and not having that support. So we're fighting and striving to make sure that we become better connectors with your children. We also are learning about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and learning about the most basic needs, that if a student doesn't feel safe, if they haven't had the basic needs of food and water, feeling belonging and connected, that it's really hard, those basic and also psychological needs, it's very hard to move up the ladder of just reaching your full potential. So we're becoming mindful and aware of that, and thinking of how we communicate, how we structure our classrooms, how we structure our school to further meet those needs, so our students are healthier, and when they're healthier, they're able to better learn. We're also learning about teaching our students how to self-regulate and being mindful. So teaching them how to, with the ongoing demands of life and the different range of emotions that we have, teaching them through that what would be socially appropriate and flexible responses, which we also are teaching that could either be in an action or an inaction. So being aware of your thoughts and feelings and surroundings, being in the moment and monitoring yourself, and being able to learn that if we're upset, if things have stressed us out, what are the positive and proper ways to express that, to work through that, and to work and just being a better overall human being. We also are working into deepening our relationships and building hope in our students. And so we look at the three-tier approach as we talk about the individual student, our Liberty programs that you'll hear from Mr. Whitaker in a little bit, and also the different outside agencies and services that we have in our building. Some of them are the Crime Victims Council, Community and Schools, Center for Humanistic Change. And we also, even though you don't see it on the screen, we've created, through the vision of Dr. Bailey and his team, we've created a wellness center And with that wellness center, your first point of contact, as always, if all this information, it could be a lot to take in. Your first point of contact is your student service center, and specifically your child's guidance counselor. But with the wellness center, we're desiring, as we're still building it, to be a safe place, for students where they can reduce their stress and improve their mental health. And we're building different compartments and areas in it. And shortly, in a few weeks, you'll hear Mr. Bailey Dr. Bailey speak to you about different opportunities we'll have for your children, for you as parents, and also things that we have for staff. So we have multiple social workers that work in the wellness center. We have occupational therapists from Raven College, and the whole goal is to just increase mental health, to have a space that students can calm down if they're dysregulated, to learn how to improve and increase their peace, and overall, that helps with the academics, that helps with the learning, obviously, and overall, just really that resilience piece, to just be a stronger, well-rounded individual as we move our students, our children through some difficult and challenging times, and teaching them how to thrive through it and not just survive, as we always are gearing them to move on to eventually there will be life after liberty, and so preparing them for that.
As Dr. Bailey had stated earlier, we have a freshman center, which your child will be a part of upon entering Liberty High School. The Liberty High School's freshman center was created with the mindset of a school within a school, smaller environment to help your son or daughter get acclimated to coming to a high school. Within that freshman center, they will be attending their math courses, their social studies courses, and English courses on the top floor of the Commons building. Each of the courses integrates study skills with with the purpose of assisting your son or daughter with the academic load and expectations in each classroom. The freshman seminar course, as was mentioned earlier by Mrs. Ramsey, they provide support and instruction and study skills, as well as was mentioned before, the career interest inventory, and also developing a life plan. And that will assist your son or daughter with identifying their passion and purpose, and allowing them to select courses that would play into exactly what they're looking to do going forward as a potential career interest. In addition, restorative practices are also integrated into our health curriculum, so that students not only hear what it means to be restorative, but they're also get an opportunity to really study and understand the purpose of being restorative and the benefits that it provides. We provide quite a few services, both academically and socially and personally. One of our main sources in terms of student support for academics is our Canes Academic Support Program. We know it as the Homework Club. The Homework Club is provided Tuesdays through Thursdays after school, and allow for our students to receive assistance in all of their subjects from one or two teachers in the room. They provide tutoring. They also can utilize that time to work on assignments in a safe environment. The other support would be the teachers themselves. So we encourage our students to advocate for themselves, to spend time with the teachers who provide the instruction and ask questions. And all of our teachers are more than willing to stay afterwards to work with your son or daughter in terms of allowing them an opportunity to improve their grade or their academics in that course. Our National Honor Society also provides a tutoring service as well for their membership, where they assist with mentoring our students, and that typically takes place within our homework club, and they provide supports, specifically, with our core subjects. The final support is our Check and Connect mentoring program. Our Check and Connect mentoring program pairs your son or daughter up with a mentor, and that mentor does exactly what the name of the program says. They check in, they connect with your son or daughter, and they provide supports in terms of, again, academics, also supporting them and making sure that they are doing well, also on the social and emotional side as well. On the personal and social support services, we have our SAP program. The SAP program um, allows for us to try to identify what are the things that are preventing students from being academically successful, what are the barriers that are in place. And so we look for ways to support your sons or daughters if they do require that type of support. And we look for multiple interventions that we can utilize to help get them back on track. We also provide counseling services, as was mentioned earlier. And again, the way to do so would be to go through the guidance counselor and have a conversation in regards to what you feel your son or daughter may need at this time. Project Success Mentoring, it's also another service that we utilize as well, where we have students meet with an individual and they discuss those things in a, again, safe and private environment. What are the things that are helping them to be successful? What are the things that are challenging to them? And then the mentor also provides some ideas and support for your son or daughter to help them to, again, get back to being successful in school. Monthly, we have parent workshops that are usually headed by Dr. Bailey. And the topics usually are topics that pertain to things that are assistive in terms of helping your son or daughter navigate through school and in this portion of their life. And then finally, we have a medical, vision, and dental vans, which are provided for our students, which allow for them to receive the services if needed.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker.
Okay. Community service. Okay. Each student is required to complete a minimum of 60 hours of community service at an approved agency in order to graduate. There are a list of approved agencies which can be found on our school website. In addition, the organizations must be nonprofit organizations. Students who complete 135 hours or more will be honored at graduation with the presentation of the silver cord. And we have many students at Liberty High School who go above and beyond that. So that is definitely an honor that a student would love to receive. Up to 30 hours between 8th and 9th grade will be credited for service in the summer.
All right. So we recognize as educators that there is so much that goes on in a high school, and obviously our purpose is to provide them with the best education possible so that they can reach their passion and purpose. But we know that there's so many other components to what students do in high school and what they love in high school. One of those components is athletics. And we are so fortunate that our students have the opportunity to participate in so many different varsity and sub-varsity athletics, whether it be baseball, football, cross country, volleyball, swimming. We have so many different athletic opportunities for them on so many different levels. We compete in a highly competitive conference and league, And it truly is an incredible thing. If you haven't been out to see our games, whether it be regardless of what the sport is, it's always amazing to watch our student athletes compete around the Valley, both at home and visiting other schools. So we encourage students, if they have any interest at all in getting involved in athletics, to contact our athletic office. Again, Mr. Harris is our athletic director, and you can contact them at any time to get information about sports. Any students who are interested in fall sports should make sure that they contact the athletic office before the summer, so that they can check in about physicals and the things that they need to do, because many of our fall sports begin in the summer. We also have an array of facilities at Liberty High School, whether it be the traditions and history of Memorial Gym, to our weight training facilities, obviously the stadium and track, and multiple practice fields. In addition to athletics, we have over 60 different clubs and activities. As I stated earlier, we know that there's so much more that goes into their high school experience, and our students truly get involved. I often call Liberty High School the New York City of the Lehigh Valley, because it seems like it never sleeps. Our students are here till early in the morning, much earlier than school begins, and they're here long after school is over into the evenings, whether it be for practices, in terms of plays and things like that, or our music program. They just are involved in so much. And so these are just a list of many of our clubs and activities, but those clubs and activities vary based on interests, culturally, socially, competitively. They really run the gamut. And so the important thing is that students get involved. We will have, during September, we will have a activities fair that your child will have the opportunity to go through. And at that fair, they'll see all of the different sports and clubs that we have available. And students between 10th and 12th grade will be there to talk to them about their experiences in those clubs and activities and what they can expect. And also talk to them about when the club meets and what the expectations are. So again, please encourage your children to think about what they want to be involved in, what they want to engage in beyond academics. We know statistically that the more students are involved in their high school, the better they do academically. And so we always encourage that. If you have questions about clubs and activities, you can either contact the advisor of those clubs and activities, or Mr. Harris, who's the overall administrator for clubs and activities in our school. I want to just briefly, again, this is recorded, so it'll be there for you. But these are the department chair who are in charge of our different academic areas. And we wanted to provide their email addresses for you, just because often you'll have questions that are very specific to those academic areas. And so you'll have Miss Corrigan in English, Mr. Frank in math, Miss Richards in science, Mr. Markovich in social studies, Miss Wetzel in business, Mr. Norwood in language, world language, Miss Halper in health and physical education, Mr. Long in fine and practical arts, special education, Miss Eisenhower in ESL, Miss Colomb, and finally, in charge of our guidance counselors is Mr. Wuchter. Please feel free to contact any of them by email at any time, and they will get back to you about any of the pertinent information or answer any questions that you may have. I wanted to, as we close, I wanted to speak briefly about the orientation process. And we state it as a process specifically because that's what it is. It's not a one-time event. It's something that occurs over time. So it begins with you and your child viewing this video and then attending our Q&A, which will happen next week, which you should have received a letter home from your 8th grade student. If you did not, please ask them about it. They probably have it in their book bag somewhere. But that event is really, you view this video and then attend that Q&A to answer any questions and any other items that we have for you. But that event kicks it off. Then your child will have, they will do their course selection with our guidance counselors who are meeting with them. I will then visit all of the middle schools, hopefully in person, but possibly virtually, depending on how things are going. But I run circles with all of our 8th grade students, and that's their opportunity to sit with me and ask any questions they have about coming to high school. We know that for them, it's an exciting time, but it can create some anxiety. And so we want to make sure that they have all the answers that we can possibly give them and make them feel as comfortable as possible. So I meet with at all 3 middle schools with all of these students who are coming to Liberty. We then hold a Meet the Administrators night where, as an administrative team, we come to your middle schools to meet with you as parents and spend that time with you again, just to answer any questions that you have that you may that may have come up in conversation with your child or other parents. And so we make ourselves available to be with you as long as you'd like, and really try to provide some clarity. And we know that this process, many of us have gone through it as well as parents, and so we know it creates some anxiety for you as well. And so we want to be there for you. Then all of our 8th grade students have the opportunity to come up and visit Liberty in a 8th grade visitation. And so we show them around the school. We allow them to see classrooms and the different main areas of the building. And then ultimately, sit with them. They speak to other students and see some presentations and hear more about Liberty High School. Again, we're going to try to put that off into the late spring in hopes that things have gotten better in terms of health conditions in our area, and that we're able to actually bring them into the building. If not, we will more than likely do something virtually, and then we have them out in August, and where they'll get to see the building then. We also have the 8th grade track meet, which hopefully occurs again this year. And that's a big event where all the 8th graders get to come to Liberty, to the stadium, and compete out back. It's just a great opportunity to see all of them come together. It's one of the few times, or one of the first times, where they're kind of really all there. And then they transition to their high schools. Finally, there's the August orientation activities, and that encompasses, to begin with in August, a parent night and also a student event where we bring them in to the building and do a number of activities to kind of get them together. That particular event is special because that is the first time that all 3 middle schools that come to Liberty are really all together at Liberty as Hurricanes together. And so it's a pretty special day for them. They come in that morning. It's usually around the 14th, somewhere in there. But they come in the morning, and then parents come in the evening. And so that kicks off their freshman year and a number of activities after that. So I just want to just quickly just say thank you. Thank you for sending your students to Liberty High School. Thank you for choosing public education. Thank you for having faith that in these very crazy times that we are going to do everything possible to help your children be successful and to really reach high in terms of their passion and purpose. We know that this isn't always the easiest decision as a parent, And so when you make a choice to send your kid to Liberty High School, I want you to know that you have sent your child to a place where people truly care, truly want the best, and truly bend over backwards to try to make their dreams happen. I thank you for your time, whether you're watching this in the morning or in the evening. And please reach out to any of us if you have any questions moving forward. This is, again, a process. And so we'll see you both at the upcoming orientation in a few days and at numerous times throughout the rest of this school year. So thank you and take care.